You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Wimbledon quarter-finalist Lulu Sun will play under the New Zealand flag at the ASB Tennis Classic for the first time this summer. Lulu Sun, the first announcement for the Auckland tournament, starts on December the 30th with the women's tournament, then rolls into the men's. Lulu Sun has twice played in Auckland before, but under the Swiss flag. This is the first time she'll play under the Kiwi flag. Let's bring in tournament director Nicolas Lamperin. Hi, Nicolas. How keen were you to get Lulu Sun back after the year that she's had?
Hi. Lulu was clearly one of our priorities. You know, this is the first time a New Zealand player reaches the quarterfinal at Wimbledon, especially coming from quali. So it was really an achievement that we wanted to reward. And I do believe this is just the beginning for her. I was in Cincinnati last week. I saw her going through qualis again, winning a match in the men draw. And as we speak, you know, she just won a quarterfinals in Monterrey and will be in the semis tomorrow.
The WTA rules state you can only have two players ranked between 11 and 30. Are you hoping that Lulu Sun stays out of the world's top 30 so that she doesn't take up one of those spots and you still have two available?
We've got some flexibility. I think, you know, if Lulu was to become a top 30 player, it would be a good problem to have for us. But also, there's another exception about national players, so she wouldn't fall within that rule.
Okay,
we could still have two other players ranked between 11 and 30.
Wonderful. The other rule, which is interesting, is you can only have a top 10 player if she is the defending champion. That's Coco Gauff, of course, two-time defending champion. Can you give us any indication about whether she will be back this summer?
It's a little bit early to say. There's a lot of conversation going on at the moment, and I can't really comment on Coco's participation at this time.
You'd like to have her back, though?
Of course. I mean, you know, Coco is probably one of the best ambassadors of the sport. But if she's not able to come back, then we also have some really good opportunities.
Yeah, I look at the rules and I know you're bound by them, but there are some big name players, aren't there, Nicholas, who would be major draw cards who are outside the top 30, aren't there?
Yes, I mean, that's the reality. If you look at there's a lot of Grand Slam winners who are ranked outside of the top 30. And we're able to go after them and bring them to Auckland. So we're not really worried about the rules from the WTA. There's many ways to work around them. The
rules aren't quite so strict for the men's tournament, obviously. Do you think you'll be able to get a top 10 player to Auckland for the summer?
Top 10 is always a bit of a challenge on the men's side for a number of reasons. You know, traditionally, the top 10 guys don't necessarily want to play the week before Grand Slam. Also, now as you know, we have a Saturday final and the Australian Open start on the Sunday, which is a little bit challenging. However, you know, we still have some discussions going on, and if not top 10, there will be some players between 10 and 20 for sure.
When you sit down with these players or presumably their representatives or both, what's your pitch to them to try and lure them to Auckland?
It's a combination of factors. I guess the first thing is it needs to fit within their schedule. Some players want to play one tournament before the Australian Open, others want to play two. So we need to factor that in. And also, you know, we're trying to attract them. I mean, not only from a financial point of view, because you know the dollars do matter in that regard. But also in terms of the experience that we can offer to the players in Auckland. We're lucky to have a great history and players speak really highly of the tournament. We get really good grades also from the tour supervisors, both on ATP and WTA. So all of these factors really help to attract the top talent.
And I guess from your point of view, you can't have everybody, can you? I mean, you do have a budget that you work within. How do you do the sums in your head, you know, trying to attract some really big draw cards, but also making sure that the numbers work?
Yeah, we need to be selective. You know, when I do the player field, I try to select maybe 4 or 5 players on the men's side and on the women's side. and then I go after the ones that I believe the fans in Auckland want to watch, and also the ones that I know will be able to deliver on the court.
Fantastic. And Kiwis, I know a feature in the early rounds anyway has been Kiwi involvement. They'll be there again. Potentially, you'll give wild cards, will you, to some Kiwi players? Yeah,
we still have that playoff system. So there's a player for the men's in Te Anau and another one for the women's at the ASB Tennis Centre. The winner gets main draw and the runner-up gets qualies. On top of this, we'll most likely have Marcus Daniel plays last tournament in Auckland in doubles, so we'll be glad to have him.
And you mentioned you're in the United States at the moment. I know you spent some time at Wimbledon. So in your travels, I mean, it feels like a dream job, but it's probably all business for you, is it? Do you actually get to watch any decent tennis?
Yeah, I've watched a lot of tennis over the summer. I was at Wimbledon, then I went to Paris for the Olympics. I was in Cincinnati last week. I'm this week in New York for the UTS, the new short format, which is quite interesting to watch. And then I'll be at the US Open starting from next week, and then back in Auckland. All
right, and everything's in place. You're where you want to be, in sort of as we head towards the end of August with the tournament. I'm sure it'll rush up quickly the back end of December.
Yeah, everything's in place. We've made our first announcement yesterday. Tickets go on sale next week, and we'll start announcing more and more players as the weeks get closer to the start of the tournament.
Terrific. As I say, it's always a major draw card on the New Zealand sporting calendar. Nicolas, thanks for having a chat to us. All the best with your ongoing negotiations, and look forward to catching up again as the tournament draws closer.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.
No, thank you, Nicolas. Nicolas Lamperin there, joining us out of the United States ahead of the ASB Classic. So it starts on December 30. The women's week runs through until January 5, and then the men take over from January 6 through 11, leading directly into the first round of the Australian Tennis Open. It'll be here before you know it, 2025. Can you believe it? And just in case you missed that news, Lulu Sun is through to the semi-finals of the Monterrey Open in Mexico. She's cruised past Russian Erika Andreeva in straight sets, 6-4, 6-3. It's also been confirmed that at the US Open, Lulu Sun will take on Italian Lucia Bronzetti in the opening round. That's the final Grand Slam event of the year. So let's hope Lulu Sun can finish strongly. Great to know that she's going to end the year and be here over the summer at the ASB Classic in Auckland.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.